Welcome to Futuro, the podcast from the past that talks about the present and your future. I'm your host, Jess, and WTF is the podcast that welcomes your future and discusses how you got here. Be it the easy way or the hard way, but we want people to know there's always a way. My guest on this episode of the WTF podcast is Jovi, a graphic designer and creative. Jovi, welcome to the podcast. How's it going for you today?
It's going good so far.
That's good. Would you mind introducing yourself a little bit and then telling us a bit about your background?
Sure. So my name is Giovanna. I go by Jovi. I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
I was really into art growing up. That was like my first love was art, drawing, sketching, tracing things to like try to get my skills good. And eventually in middle school, I started getting into theater, and I really liked that. And I've always loved singing, so I sing too whenever I can. And I was planning on going to school for art. I wanted to be like an animator at one point. I had a lot of different ideas, but I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. So when I went to school, I was just getting my general education classes done. Eventually, I just started working, because you gotta make money.
Yeah.
So I started working, and recently, like towards the ending of the pandemic, I stopped working because I was pretty fed up of just working all the time. Like I was getting depressed and stressed out, and I was just like, man, like, why am I not doing what I want to do? Like what I'm passionate about. Like I had so many goals when I was younger, and 7-8 years goes by just working, and I just stopped working so I can kind of refocus what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what, let me go back to school. So like almost 10 years later, I decided to go back to CLC. That's where I started off, the College of Lake County. And so I talked to that advisor, and he's mentioned graphic design, and I was like, yeah, why don't I do that? And so he said, after your certificate, go back to school, get your associates, and see where you're at from there.
Yeah.
So I definitely do want to go back to finish my associates because I have all these credits that I did 10 years ago, and I don't want them to go to waste. So I think I have maybe like 2 semesters left to finish, and bunch of concentration classes once I decide the major, which I'm going to do business. So that's pretty much where I'm at. So I got my certificate. I got my certificate in graphic design. I want to try to work for opening my business for that. I already have my business idea.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I got pregnant while I was in school. So now kind of my focus has gone towards my son because he's growing up. He's still a little baby. So that's kind of derailed me a little bit from my goal. But eventually, once he gets older and I have more time on my hands, more help, then I can start getting back into what I want to do with graphic design.
How is it going back to school in your late 20s?
It was interesting. I actually enjoyed it a lot because when I first started going to school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I honestly, I don't think I took the classes as seriously as I should have. It wasn't, I don't know, I just wasn't very goal-oriented back then. And now, 10 years later, now going back to school, I'm more mature. Like I have a goal in mind. I know what I want to do now. So it turned out a lot better 10 years later for me personally. And like it reflected in my classwork, in my projects, and even in my grades, man. I was so proud of myself because it was the first time I had ever gotten straight A's. And like I was so proud of myself for this. Like I literally cried at graduation because it was quite a difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Figuring out what I wanted to do and having that end goal. It was an accomplishment.
Yeah, something to be proud of.
Yes.
Yeah, because you really pushed yourself. You really, I don't know, you did great.
And I was pregnant.
Yes, you were pregnant.
And that like, man, I was so tired all the time. And I just kept thinking in my mind, like, you know what? I got to do this for my baby. Like, I don't know. I don't want to tell him that I got pregnant and I dropped out. I wanted him to hear, like, I got pregnant and I carried on and I smashed it, man. I did it
What are some specific accomplishments or projects that you've worked on that you are the most proud of? And are there any that you could share with the audience?
Yeah, so one thing that I didn't expect to take when I went back to get my graphic design certificate was photography.
Mm-hmm.
It just seemed like out of my league, I guess. And I took that class and I loved it. Like I discovered another passion of mine.
Yeah.
That I want to surprisingly that is the work that I'm most proud of because I never thought I would do something like that. Besides that, the graphic design projects. I'm trying to think of which one. There are so many. The packaging design classes that we were in, didn't know I could do it. Yeah. So that's also something I'm also proud of.
What do you think your younger self would think of you if you went back and told them about all this stuff? Do you think they'd be happy with your situation, or I guess, what would you say?
Man, if I ever encountered my younger self, I feel like my younger self would kick me in the ass. Yeah. I'd be like, what are you doing, man? Like, get to it. I don't know. That's so interesting. That's such an interesting concept.
Yeah. How is motherhood treating you?
It's crazy, man. It's such a different life. I don't know, man. Like, it's a whole new world. I love it. Like, I love my son. I love seeing him grow and doing things for the first time, and the smile on his face, and they do grow fast. Yeah. They do grow so fast. And I feel like you feel so happy, but at the same time, you kind of feel sad because you want them to be little forever.
That's true.
But he's going to grow, and he's going to keep growing. Yeah. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see him grow and see him grow into his own person. It's cool.
Do you have any advice for the people that are listening to this podcast?
Set goals.
Yeah.
Talk to people. Network. Oh my God. And just do your best. There's a lot happening in the world right now, and just try to focus and don't worry about things that are beyond your control. Don't let that affect you, but the things that you can control, that focus your energy into that, be positive, and do your thing.
Right. So where can these people find your work if they're interested?
I have an Instagram going on right now. It's under Jovial Creations, so you can find that. It's literally at Jovial Creations for Instagram. I did also make a Facebook account. So either Instagram or Facebook, you can look up that, and eventually I will get my own website. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's good.
Getting there. Yeah. Getting there. One step at a time.
Yeah, right. So what would you say to your future self if you ever looked back on this episode again?
Shut up. No. Stop talking. No, I'm just kidding. What would I say to my future self? Get your ass going. Like my younger self would tell my current self, like, come on, get it going. Yeah. Just set a goal, do it, focus on it, and it'll get done.
It's good. Good advice. Thank you for coming onto the podcast, Jovi. And we wish you a lot of success and good luck and fortune in the future.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Same back at you.
Oh, thank you very much.